count. Just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay away. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay, can everybody hear me? How is everybody? Hello, Lucy. Hello, Deb H. Hello, Psych and Crime. Hello, hey, Jude. Hello, Deb H. Did I just say that? Hello, Brooke. All right, here we go. Jackie Blue. Hello, Susan Hicks. All right. Pie Bird. Judy. Hello, everyone. Dixie Doodles. Wanted to talk with you guys about Ingrid Curtis. Who is she? Now, this is something that we never heard before. We're going to get into that. Also on the docket today, Aidan Kearney releases releases a sworn affidavit, again alleging a conspiracy between the Commonwealth and masshole mafias, Kate Peter. Is it true? Certainly some unbelievable things in that affidavit. We're going to get into that. Also in the courtroom, Alan Jackson and Karen Reed having a spat. Was it a lover's quarrel? Or are there deeper issues in the defense? We're going to explore all those things today. First, starting off with Ingrid Curtis. This is from the research from Innocence Fraud Watch, from her blog. And we're going to pull it up and go through it. 1 minute. So this is something we never heard, and everybody was asking. This is something Trooper Garino talked about. She was texting on a group text with Ingrid and Bill Curtis on the 29th. And what was she saying? And there's certainly a lot of rumors about Ingrid Curtis. But who is she? So let's look at it. Killer Karen Reed retrial updated. Why did murderer choose to ghost alleged best friend Ingrid Curtis, aka Ingrid Miller Curtis, and Bill Curtis from her public relations innocence fraud propaganda campaign. There are a handful of people who know what happened, Bill Reed said in 2023. Great quote, Innocence Fraud Watch. January 29, 2022, following Karen Reed's first 2024 trial for her murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, on September 6, ABC 2020 aired an innocence fraud TV show called Karen Reed, The Perfect Storm, which was partially recorded in 2023. During her performance, Karen Reed made the following admissions. I had called my father, he didn't answer, and I texted him, John is dead, and I don't know there's the psycho stutter again. I didn't know for sure that John was dead, but I'm trying to elicit a response. And he called me back and I was distraught. So my father called the police. But in mid-2024, during filming for another TV show entitled A Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed, which did not air until March 2025, Karen Reed stated, at the scene, I called my mom, my dad, my brother, my best friend, and no one was answering. So I texted, John is dead, and my dad called me back. It is not known to the public at what time Karen called her mom, brother, and best friend, possibly Ingrid Curtis, from her crime scene, nor is it known what time she texted them, John is dead. It is not known to the public if Karen Reed texted her mom, brother, and best friend something different to what she had texted her father. Karen Reed referred to Ingrid and Bill Curtis in a message to Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki in May 2023, as the below screenshot evidences. Thanks, Nat. Turtleboy is right. I'm worried about the trial. I don't want to put my life in the hands of 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty. That's Karen Reed saying that. I'm worried about the trial. I don't want to put my hands in the life. I don't want to put my life in the hands of 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty. Did I just read that wrong? Did I just say jury trial? Jury duty. I am worried about trial. I don't want to put my life in the hands of 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty. But I don't understand why he doesn't mention more that the feds are involved. The first assistant U.S. attorney, they don't shoot and miss. They have a case and way more evidence than we do. I know this for a fact. Close the case. They have more evidence. They closed the case. It was all opened as a favor to Karen Reed. Jen McCabe testifies this coming week. I'm not sure about the others. This is not going to trial for me. See, that was the whole point, is to have it dismissed before it ever went to trial. This was the whole point of this innocence fraud campaign. It didn't work. The front row is already full. It's very tight, and it's my immediate family, their lawyer, and Inge and Bill. Turtleboy can sit behind them with John Silvera and the Del Riccios. I think he knows them. During day 3 of Karen Reed's retrial for her murder, it was revealed by prosecutor Hank Brennan that Karen had communicated with a person by the name of Ingrid on the morning of January 29, 2022. This appears to be related to when Karen Reed was sat alone inside Kerry Roberts' car close to her crime scene on the edge of the lawn of 34 Fairview Road around the time of 6:25 a.m. Special prosecutor Hank Brennan asked State Trooper Nicholas Garino, "Can you look at this document? Do you recognize it?" Trooper Nicholas Garino stated yes. Hank Brennan then asked, "Can you tell the jury what this is?" And Nicholas Garino went on to testify, "Yes, this is a text conversation between the defendant, and it looks like a group chat between Ingrid Curtis and Bill Curtis. This is on January 29, 2022. Will the group chats between Ingrid and Bill Curtis reveal Karen was in a regular contact with them throughout January 29th, at least until her phone was seized by state troopers? And did Karen Reed make yet more Freudian slips in her messages, which she is renowned for doing? And why isn't Karen Reed calling her alleged best friend Ingrid Curtis to testify in her defense? And we can listen to, I can play these clips in a second. So the rumors on who Ingrid Curtis is, some of the rumors that she went to school with Karen Reed before attending Babson College are, and here's a tweet from Spark. Our COO, Ingrid Miller Curtis, shares her Inclusion Council book recommendation, the memo by Minda Hartz. My journey as a woman in technology consulting has been one of continuous discovery. As a young consultant, I spent a lot of time and effort working hard to be respected in a male-dominated profession. I thought of the additional challenges I faced as simply male-female equation without fully understanding the layers of bias and discrimination that beset our workplace. The memo highlights early career experiences from a Black woman's point of view, while the author, Minda Hartz, struggles with uniquely female challenges. She also shares a uniquely Black perspective on said challenges. There are also rumors that Ingrid Curtis loaned Karen Reed a large sum of money to help her pay for one of her lawyers. And this is from Cubic Z Painter. I cannot wait to hear what the text message between Karen and her friend from Atlanta, Ingrid Curtis, who made her the $250,000 low interest loan, are all about. Must be something good, or why admit it into evidence? However, in August 22 email to Alan Jackson, Karen Reed stated it was allegedly a colleague. And that would not describe Ingrid Curtis, I don't believe. Hold on 1 second. It's really super hot in here. A colleague who had structured a low interest personal loan for her, not her best friend. So this is a email from Karen Reed to Alan Jackson. Okay, thank you. Just please understand that I am summoning every possible resource. She's summoning every possible resource. Where have we heard that before? I summoned every possible resource to get to the truth. Remember when she's asked who did it? I was the only one trying to save his life, and I've marshaled. She says she's marshaled every resource to get to the truth at that time. So now she's summoning every possible resource to get to the 200K, and that Yannetti is likely out of his league with what this case requires. I just can't have the relationship with him fall apart and resort to a public defender for trial. I also don't want to disclose our fee agreement with Yannetti. Since he's already given me a break on his trial fee, $200K versus $250K, with $100K signed over for my bail money. If we go to trial, I'm planning on saying that a colleague is paying you directly, which is close to true. A colleague has structured a low interest personal loan for me that is payable at maturity. So what this tells us is that she is the one who's frugal and the one who was haggling down Yannetti's fees and playing them off of each other. But, Yannetti is really, she doesn't treat Jackson, and she seemed to be, really entangled. And Yannetti is always treated like the black sheep son for Karen Reed. I mean, I think they're both very dangerous criminal lawyers. I mean, if you want to know why, I think someone asked last time at the end of the episode why I am so harsh on Karen Reed's lawyers. I wouldn't be a defense lawyer. I'm not thrilled with lawyers in general. I get their purpose. But when defense lawyers go way out of their bounds from just defending a client in court to putting on an innocence campaign and going beyond the rules of the laws of our land and the laws of our courts, I have a super issue with them. And that is what they have done in this case by leaking out information to Turtleboy and then referencing that own leak information in their own motions, which is you cannot do. Lying to the court, getting caught lying to the court, eliciting perjured testimony from the ARCA witnesses that they weren't being paid, again, withholding discovery. I mean, that's just to name a few. They have acted like criminals. And because the judge is a former defense attorney herself, and I think probably operated in much the same way when she was a defense attorney as Jackson and Ionetti, she has not put a stop to this and has let all this go on. So we're watching a court where the thumb is really on the scale for the defense because nothing happens. The Commonwealth has to hand in all their discovery on time because if they didn't, the case could be dismissed. Discovery violation, right? I mean, but defense is just allowed to act like anything. So that's the reason why I don't like the way these, and they were also behind the witness harassment campaign and Turtleboy, and I do not like those tactics. If you're a great lawyer, argue your case in court. Argue your case in court. But they're not great lawyers. They're mediocre lawyers at best who have to cheat to win. It is not yet known if Ingrid Curtis or someone linked to Ingrid Curtis has been involved in promoting Karen Reed's public relation innocence fraud propaganda. Ingrid Curtis tweeted, I think this is a tweet. Hold on one second. Check. Yeah, it is a tweet. I feel like I'm starting a cult for followers and counting. It will be interesting to hear if intermediary Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki, who was the intermediary between Turtleboy and Karen Reed in the beginning, knew on an encrypted app, knew anything about Ingrid Curtis, and she's on the witness list for the Commonwealth. Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki is on the witness list for the Commonwealth. So she could be asked about Ingrid and Bill Curtis. She could be asked about the witness harassment campaign. She could be asked about Turtleboy. She has a lot of knowledge, and I believe she only gave a little of what she knew in that interview with Tully, Officer Tully. Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki did she know anything about Ingrid Curtis or Bill Curtis and their behind-the-scenes activities? Was Karen Reed talking to Ingrid Curtis when state police arrived at her house at 41 Gilbert Street in Mansfield to arrest her, or was it someone else? Okay, let me just start playing some of these clips for you. We'll go through it. So
you shared with us that you...
let me fix this. Let me fix this. Let me take a break and fix this. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact-focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. hard task warrior, dissecting state and defense, twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy, exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets, standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing, she's the anti-fraud light.
Okay, we are back. Before I get into this, please hit the thumbs up while you're here. Support the channel. This is also, you make these episodes possible. You didn't miss me, Jennifer Ray. I'm still here. We're talking about Ingrid Curtis. And who is she? It's the first time we've ever heard about Ingrid Curtis. Just remove this and pull in the new video.
Cooper, you shared with us that you downloaded the extraction of the phones that you identified, and you made reports based on specific identified features. For example, a conversation between two people.
Yeah, so I didn't do the extraction of Jen's phone, but I made those reports with the PDFs from the data extraction.
Relative to Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant's phones, you created a document that provided us the phone calls between them on January 29th?
Yes, that's correct.
And separately, you also provided a document that included all of the chats or text messages between John O'Keefe and the defendant on January 29th, 2022.
Yes, it also included the 28th.
Thank you.
Yes.
And in that compilation, did you put together or do you create or review a PowerPoint of those?
Yes, I did.
And what was the point of that?
Just to show the texts and calls in a chronological order, because that way you're not looking at two different documents trying to compare and contrast the calls to text messages when each is coming in.
And did you begin that PowerPoint presentation with a call at 2:16:10 on January 28, 2022?
Yes, that's correct.
And are there additional chats or text messages earlier that morning?
Yes, there's a handful starting around 9:45 a.m.
I was talking to my best friend on the phone, and I said, there's a lot of cops circling. And I said, I think I'm going to get arrested. I started to get my...
We'll get back into that. So back to the blog. So that was Nicholas Garino talking, first time we ever heard about Ingrid Curtis. Oh, wait. So Karen Reed told Ted Daniels during a carpool interview that on the end of March 2002, that she and two best friends rented an Airbnb in Newport. Was one of those best friends Ingrid Curtis. You know, it's been sort of bantered about that Karen Reed has no friends, But it's not really true. She does have friends, but it does seem like she has pulled around her a lot of these innocent fraudsters who are grifting off of her crime and trying to help her evade responsibility and consequences for it, certainly. But she does have friends, turns out.
My two best friends, my best friend and her husband came, and we rented an Airbnb in Newport for 3 days at the end of March. It was cold, it was raining the whole time. We had dinner and then we just went back and talked about the case, and it was very emotional, just a lot of emotions from all of us. And they had spent a lot of time with John. And David reached out to me while I was down in Newport, and he said, we've got some discovery. And we hadn't gotten anything but the initial police report.
This is March 20.
This is late March 2022. Okay. I was reading the discovery, and they were implying in this report from Michael Proctor that I had deleted ring footage from John's house. That was the first time. It almost jolted me, Ted, back to, you've got to start fighting. They're coming for you. This is not a case of they misconstrued my behavior or were told things that weren't accurate about me that morning. This was, oh, now they've got me deleting things? This is nefarious. What they're accusing me of is nefarious behavior, and the way they're doing it is nefarious.
Don't play poker, Karen. Don't play poker. Every time she starts lying, she gets that stutter. They're accusing me of deleting things, nefarious behavior. Where is it? Where's the ring footage? Because I don't believe that the Commonwealth deleted it, Karen. I think it's you. You did it. I don't know when. I don't know how. You certainly took your laptop with you when you left One Meadows and snuck in like a grave robber. You and your father rifling around upstairs while there's a grieving family that you caused the grief of. Grieving children downstairs. Never mind, you got to get that laptop. That's really important. And hightail it out of there without saying anything. Oh, that story makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. May 3rd, 2023, David Yannetti texted Aidan, Turtleboy, Kearney, dude, don't be offended if we don't shake your hand on the way in to court. We want to maintain the separation and your independent investigation. Yeah, independent. We want to maintain the look of a separation and an independent investigation. That's what that means. I'll translate. I'll do some translating here. So here's Aidan Kearney at that very May 3rd hearing that he was not to. I mean, like, treated like the help. Treated like the help. Don't talk to him. And definitely don't talk to him in public. Or the fat friend that you only talk to in private.
I thought it went fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of energy here, favoring the defense, favoring truth more than anything. I was disgusted by the people showing up with support for JJ. I wanted to puke when I saw that.
Okay. He wanted to puke. Actual support for the actual victim makes him want to puke. What a guy. What a guy. This is why it's just, I think, I always have to remember that good people are fooled by these campaigns. Certainly I was fooled by many an innocence fraud campaign in my youth when I didn't know better. Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. But here is, hi, Holly Jackson. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Here is Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki, the intermediary, talking about this relationship between Aidan Kearney. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read this part first. Let me get into this part first. So let me give you some context. 1 minute. So Ingrid and Bill Curtis attended that hearing, that May 3rd, 2000 and 23 motions hearing as the still image below evidences. So that's Ingrid, the blonde. And that's Bill Curtis on the right. That's Bill Curtis. So you can see the two arrows. Karen Reed, apparently, so if you're listening on podcast, Bill Curtis is a big, kind of intimidating looking bald guy, and Ingrid Curtis is a kind of slight blonde figure. Karen Reed apparently told Aidan Kearney via intermediary Natalie Bernschneider-Wawicki to speak to John Silvera about seating in the courthouse. It was during this hearing that Alan Jackson announced that there was an active federal investigation into Karen Reed's case and cited media reports. Those media reports being a blog by Aidan Kearney. See, you cannot do that. There is an issue I have with the defense. You are not allowed to do that as a lawyer. You're not allowed to create your own evidence. Towards the end of the hearing, prosecutor Adam Lally referred to Karen Reed's iPhone and
If you're an
stated,
opinionated person like I am and you like to give your
Hold on
opinion
one
about
second.
everything, I highly recommend forthright surveys.
I'm a dad, a full-time student, and a full-time worker, so
Hold on one
costs add
second.
up.
I'm a homeschool mom. I joined Forthright to earn extra cash.
Forthright has many advantages.
This is a great way to not only give your opinion, but make an impact on some of the products.
Whether they're political or about certain
Trying to
upcoming
figure out
movies
which
or about
video is
products that are
playing.
getting ready to be released.
The sign-up process was very easy.
Their
Oh, here
survey
it is. Okay. Okay. Towards the end of the hearing, prosecutor Adam Lally referred to Karen Reed's iPhone and stated, the other thing that I would note for the court is that counsel has asked for a raw extraction copy of the material from the defendant's phone, which was then provided to counsel on March 22nd. So for over a month, the defendant has had access to the defendant's phone and the Commonwealth has not. After the hearing, propagandist Richie Koa filmed toxic abuser and innocence fraudster Aidan Kearney outside the courthouse. We just watched that video. Aidan Kearney then headed to the Omni Seaport Hotel in Boston and met up with Karen Reed and others. It is not known if Ingrid and Bill Curtis were there. Also at the hotel, listen to intermediary Natalie on the meet at the hotel below. So here we go.
You had mentioned to me before that maybe Aidan had met for lunch with Jackson and Yannetti.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So Aidan really wanted to sit in the court, and he really wanted to be in the courthouse. And this was another time Karen snapped at me, and I told her, I said, Aidan wants to sit wants to sit in the courthouse. And she's like, Natalie, I can't be bothered with this. You know, I have bigger fish to fry. I have the attorneys here all week. You know, like, leave me alone about this. And I said, Karen, he's done so much for you. Like, just get him proper seating in the courthouse. Like, we owe this to him. You owe this to him. And she goes, fine, have him call John Silvera and he can go in with John Silvera. And that was another thing that I used against Aidan was I said, you know, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have gone into the courthouse. So then Karen told me that after the May 3rd court hearing that they were going to all convene at the Omni Seaport and to tell Aidan. And so I told Aidan, and Aidan's like, I feel out of place. I don't feel right. I don't fit in. I said, Aidan, play your cards right. Alan Jackson's going to be there. Like, this is how you move up in life. You know, you schmooze with the right people. You socialize with the right people. And that's how you climb up this ladder, you know? Because he was on his way home and he didn't want to go. He was too shy. And I said, Aidan, pull over. And so he's like, well, there's two Omni Seaports. I don't know which one it is. So I remember I was standing in the middle of the factory and I call the Omni Seaports and I figure it out or whatever. I call both of them and I asked if there was a party under Jackson, under Reed, under Yannetti. none of them could tell me. And then in the meantime, Aidan's like, I figured out which one they're at. Okay, I'm on my way. And then he thanked me and he's like, thank you so much for pushing me. I had a great time. And Jackson is like such a cool guy. And Karen's parents are so cool. And Karen is just like the nicest down to earth person. And I was like, see, you just have to have a little bit of confidence, you know. The only thing he didn't listen to me is I told him, I said, when you go to court, you can't go like cartoon character with turtle tie and lime green shirt, like maybe go in neutral colors and, you know, maybe put some moisturizer on and, you know, but he didn't listen to me. He went on that court hearing. He went with the whole getup, the sign, the tie and the green lime green shirt and a black jacket or something like that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Provided to investigators.
Okay. So back to Innocence Fraud Watch's excellent blog on this topic. It's from her research. Thanks, Jenny, for the super sticker. Ted Daniel. On August 8th, Ted Daniel, Boston news story about Karen Reed and her parents, William Reed and Janet Reed, and brother Nathan Reed was aired. The story was headed Parents of Karen Reed, woman charged in Boston officer's death. My daughter will be free. Apparently, Ted Daniel spoke to Reed's parents for nearly 2 hours. Did William, Janet, or Nathan Reed tell Ted Daniel that Karen Reed had called and texted them along with her best friend from her 34 Fairview Road crime scene on January 29th, 2022? And if so, did Ted Daniel and or Boston 25 news station choose to admit these crucial facts from their August 8th story? Or did William, Janet, and Nathan Reed choose to not tell Ted Daniel about Karen Reed's calls, texts, and group chats from her crime scene? What will the unredacted recordings of their interviews reveal? Ingrid and Bill Curtis also attended a September 15th, 2023 motions hearing. It's a really short clip. Let's play it.
Claim were the complete text exchanges between yourself and Karen Reed and yourself and John O'Keefe, correct?
What I provided was the complete, I let them know that there was a complete exchange between myself and the defendant. And I said that I may have had other text strings at other times with Mr. O'Keefe.
I'm going to proceed.
Okay. One minute. Tricks for kids. Appreciate you, Roberta. All her lawyers, and every time they go after all the witnesses, it seems desperation. That has been a criticism from some of the grifting free Karen Reed, pretty much. And I notice there are more of them too. Every time I'm on YouTube, there's more free Karen Reed YouTube channels, because you know on YouTube, when someone's making money doing something, then they're all get copied. Certainly nobody's copying this channel. Nobody's trying to copy this format. Good luck with that. But even though some of those channels have been critical of Karen Reed's defense being so aggressive with all of the witnesses. But I've seen lawyers do this before, and I thought, oh, they're turning off the jury, and it doesn't. So I don't know. It turns me off. I'll tell you that. It would turn me off as a juror, but I wouldn't be a juror on this case and wouldn't want to be. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's so aggressive, and he really didn't make any wins with that EMT. Was that Whitley or Whiteley? It's excellent. excellent, who took Karen Reed. Did you know that Karen Reed, I'm just thinking of Yannetti with Whiteley. Did you know she had her period? So that's why she didn't want to give a urine. Come on. And Jackson with the other first responder the other day was making no headway at all. So, and kept going really aggressively. I mean, you have to pick your battles and who you're going to make enemies out of. And they've decided to go scorched earth, as Karen Reed said. That's what she likes about Alan Jackson. He's scorched earth. He goes scorched earth all the way. It's too much. It's too aggressive. Once you lose your credibility with the jury, it's gone. And he can really, at least for me, I am not the model juror. I do not know. Karen Reed could get off. It won't change my opinion of her. O.J. Simpson got off. Will not change my opinion of her guilt. If a jury goes another way or convicts her of some tiny charge and acquits her of the biggest charges, I think that will only show the power of the innocence fraud campaign. It would take really some serious evidence for me to change my mind in this case. So I still think she's guilty, but I find it a turn off. Alan Jackson so aggressive. Back to the blog. Sarasota, Florida. This is a interesting detail, and one that I predicted it wrong. We were all asking so when Karen Reed was asked for her phone, it was the two phones she had communicating. This is involving witness harassment. This is after she's been charged. This has to do with her witness harassment counts. Her two phones that she communicated with Aidan on, she may have had more, but they watched the phones go to Sarasota, Florida. And Tanis Yannetti, who was involved in this case in the beginning, David Yannetti's sister, has a home in Sarasota. I was asking the question, could it have been Tanis Yannetti's home? But lo and behold, Ingrid Curtis has a home. So Innocence Fraud Watch writes, on January 11, 2024, Karen Reed boarded an airplane at Logan Airport and traveled to Sarasota, Florida. See paragraph 88 of Lieutenant Brian Tully's search warrant report. So when they came for her phones, so this is the double standards in this case. When it comes to testifying, Aidan Kearney's going to take the fifth. When it comes to handing over her phones, Karen Reed's going to fly to Florida and avoid it. And then when they finally come for her phones again, she makes them wait 45 minutes outside her house till her father arrives, her partner in crime. So whereas the witnesses all willingly handed over their phones in this case and only destroyed them. You hear a lot about destroyed phones after they were told it's okay to do so. Frankly, if I were a witness in this case, knowing Karen Reed's personality and how she's a Facebook stalker, I would have destroyed my phone too. I would have thrown it in a volcano. This is like a campaign by embarrassment, put up ugly pictures of you, find anything to embarrass you, even the smallest thing, make nicknames, mock you, go to your home, go to your children's sporting events. I would have destroyed my phone. On January 11, 2000, if they told me it was okay to do so, January 11, 2024. Okay, so she's boarding an airplane, and Ingrid and Bill Curtis have a property in Sarasota, Florida. Edward Weiss and Karen Palder, trustees of Weston, Connecticut, sold two properties at blah, blah, blah to Ingrid and William Curtis of Sarasota, Florida for $1.75 million. The first property was built in 1925. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a pool, a 1,630 square foot feet of living area. The second property was built in 1925. It has 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and 434 square feet of living area. They sold for $725,000 in 2014. Is this who Karen Reed had gone to stay with? On May 24th, 2024, below is a clip of Ingrid and Bill Curtis from day 24 of Karen Reed's first murder trial. So that was the clip when Brian Higgins testified. On October 18th, 2024, Aidan Kearney published the blog headed Canton Cover-Up, Part 424. Kearney alleged in this blog Karen Reed called her mother at 1:15 that night because she was contemplating going back to her house in Mansfield because she was upset John wasn't answering his phone. She called her mother because she wanted her advice about what to do. But why did Aidan Kearney choose to admit Karen Reed's calls and John's dead text message to William, Janet, and Nathan Reed and her best friend from the early morning hours of January 29th? And you can listen to Karen Reed in her own words here. Let's take a listen.
I called my mom, my dad, my brother, and my best friend, and no one was answering. So I texted, John is dead. And my dad called me back, and I said, Dad, I don't want to live. I just want to die right now.
Okay. So, again, trying to elicit a response. So that is the end of that blog. And then it goes on. There's another blog. Hold on 1 minute. About Ingrid Curtis. Entitled Killer Karen Reed Retrial, Some Insight from X or Twitter into murderer's alleged best friend Ingrid Curtis, aka Ingrid Miller Curtis. Below are 48 accounts Ingrid Curtis follows on X. Sarasota Herald Tribute, Nicole Weiskopf, Howie Carr, who's a rabid Karen Reed supporter, Christina Rex, also covers the Karen Reed case, Bedrow Law, Mark Bedrow is Aidan Kearney's attorney. He was a Manhattan District Attorney. That's frightening. David Yannetti, Aidan Kearney. Aidan Kearney's other account. Tonya Alanez from the Boston Globe, probably covering the case. Peter Wilson from Boston 25, covering the case. Ted Daniel, covering the case. Dennis Murphy, covered the case. Emanuela Grinberg, journalist, producer, storyteller from Court TV, covering the case. Patrick Duvall, 2-term governor of Massachusetts, civil rights attorney, business leader, beekeeper. Joshua Kozar, Dr. A. Robinson, Derek. Anna Marie Henton, Sheila Miller, Bill, Mike Curtis, D.H., Kate Bain, Jolene Zupnik, Garn, Dodie Klassen, Executive Velocity, Shane O'Neill, Peter Hatch, Dave Chappelle, Daniel Tosh, Clay Baby, Suckamucka, Jennifer Reel, Emma Cole Chu, Brandon Kroom, Clayton Christensen, professor at Harvard, author of Prosperity Paradox, Gary Epinegger, Thomas Friedman, New York Times columnist, and author of Lexus and the Olive Tree, From Beirut to Jerusalem. Monty Hamilton, CEO of Spark. Spark changes the experience of our clients by providing end-to-end digital engineering solutions with our U.S.-led teams. Scott Moaning, CMG, Thomas Crafton, Saren Gay, Chris Burbridge. On April 26, Ingrid Curtis changed her profile from this to this And within hours of changing her, so when her name was mentioned, she changed it. With hours of changing her X profile, Ingrid Curtis' X account doesn't exist. So she's okay with Karen Reed exposing everyone else, but she doesn't want to be exposed. All right. Going to take another quick break. Please hit the thumbs up. And I will be back while you're here, guys. And I will be back in 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we're going to be talking about Aidan Turtleboy Kearney and his latest, very outrageous accusations and a sworn affidavit with some unbelievable, truly unbelievable allegations. Should we believe it with how outrageous this case is, how many twists and turns this case has had? Should we believe it? Also, when we get back, Karen Reed and her lawyer, Alan Jackson. Odd courtroom behavior on the outs. We'll get to it on the return. Don't go anywhere.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. Hard cash warrior, dissecting state and defense, twisting innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy, exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light.
Okay, we are back. Also, a new thing, I guess we'll start with Alan Jackson. Things some of our friends on X noticed. But there were also a mention, they went to see the Scene 34 Meadows Friday. And it looks like there's going to be a new theory as to how John O'Keefe got the damage to the back of his head. And because Hank Brennan says, this is at least what I thought. I could be wrong. We don't know yet. Because he says, he asked the jury to look at the way that Karen Reed has a sort of a hatchback kind of thing, like protruding from the back of her car. So I would think that that was what that meant, but we don't know yet. Did anyone else think that? Here's Lydia Rogart Quayle on Twitter. Here's a moment in court with Karen Reed and Alan Jackson. You might miss it. It goes by so quick. Watch this. So Karen Reed's pulling the chair Alan Jackson's chair closer to her. This is something I've noticed with this, just being in court. I've covered 3 federal trials from the courtroom. Nexium case, the Larry Ray case, and Ghislaine Maxwell. It was sad to see that one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre, passed yesterday. She did not testify in that trial, but she was a big figure in bravely getting that story out and get it. And Ghislaine Maxwell would not have been ever convicted or even charged if she hadn't spoken out bravely. So also another moment in court is I just noticed that there's just like how do I say it? Like a very much like a immaturity. And I noticed this with Karen Reed, like almost like a teenager-ish quality. And here's another moment.
Exactly the same results on these professions of interest. We can
So Alan Jackson pushes Karen Reed away. Watch this.
see, how do we compare? And we have exactly the same results on these professions of interest. We can see.
Isn't that odd? Odd, right? So are they on the rocks? Also, I never realized that. Did I forget this or did I cover this at the time? That Alan Jackson called their canoodling. So Karen Reed's reaction, Free Karen Reed's reaction was to say that this picture of them canoodling, has everybody seen that? Was fake. And then Alan Jackson told TMZ that he called it just an innocent and that he kissed David Yannetti right before this. So everybody's seen this video? Right. But a source close to Karen tells TMZ that the image is taken out of context as it was actually an innocent moment of celebration and that there was nothing to this other than goofing around. We're told Alan, Karen, and friends, including Alan's counsel, David Yannetti, had dined at the restaurant and they were feeling good about the case as the jury had been deliberating for 3 days at this point. According to the source, 10 minutes before the picture was taken, they were all inside the restaurant and Jackson had come up behind Yannetti and given him a similar hug, but also added a kiss on his cheek. So he's like, I kissed David Yannetti and I fool around with him the same way I do Karen Reed. Who believes that story? Who believes that? I want to see it to believe it. I don't know if I covered that or not. I seem to have forgotten that, if I did cover it at the time. Does anybody else remember that? Odd, right? So getting into Turtleboy's latest, who's with me? Outrageous. I'll try to go through a little of. So what he's alleging is, and this has been basically, seems like he's modeled his case, his defense after Karen Reed's defense. So he's going to allege that the Commonwealth had a conspiracy of their own and they conspired through Kate Peter to get him arrested and were paying her and And I mean, Kate Peter is like, I mean, they paint Kate Peter as the most powerful woman in Massachusetts. She's on the phone. You know, I couldn't know if any of these things are true. I am skeptical, very skeptical, and I'll tell you what makes me skeptical, but you can always be wrong. They say they're going to bring receipts. Let's see the receipts. Because there's a few things that make me very skeptical. So this is, I mean, his blog is just filled with ads. So this is the affidavit. He's saying that now comes the undersigned and on oath and hereby state the following to the best of knowledge, recollection, information, and belief. He had up earlier the whole affidavit under Penni Purdy. My name is blocked out. I reside in Massachusetts. I am of age and competent to make this affidavit. I have been friendly with Catherine Peter, hereinafter Peter, for close to a year. I've had multiple conversations and face-to-face interactions with Peter. Peter volunteers information to me about the Karen Reed case countless times throughout our friendship. All factual representations below are from what Peter told me about her involvement in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney cases. During Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with ADA Adam Lally. At one point prior to jury deliberations, Peter met with Adam Lally for lunch. During this lunch meeting, Adam Lally told Peter that he knows the foreperson. Okay. Did he not include the next part? Because the next part is the most important part. He knows the foreperson who is a retired police officer, and the juror, is guaranteeing a mistrial. So, first of all, if you know the foreperson, wouldn't you be guaranteeing a conviction? Why would you be guaranteeing a mistrial? Why would the Commonwealth want a mistrial? They wouldn't want a mistrial. They would want a conviction. No prosecutor wants to do it again. They want a conviction. I mean, why would they be rigging things in the favor of a mistrial? This is what was verbally reported to me by Peter. And so he outs the jury foreman, which I'm not going to do here. She told me she is paid $1,500 each month via Cash App for her assistance in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney prosecutions. Peter, this also reminds me of the way free Karen Readers talk. You know Karen Reed is innocent. That's what they'll say to me. You know she's innocent. Really? I don't. No, I don't. Peter believes that Karen Reed is innocent, but she has to play the game. I interpret this to mean Peter's role is to publicly promote and advocate on social media that Miss Reed is guilty. Peter opined to me that if anyone killed John, it was blacked out an asshole. Peter is very close with Hank Brennan and had multiple conversations and meetings with him. I have personally heard Peter on the phone with Hank Brennan. During a phone conversation between Peter and Hank Brennan that I was present for and personally recognized Hank Brennan's voice, Peter told them that her people leaked it to the media, referring to federal investigation being over. As of April 15th, 2025, Peter is not talking directly to Hank anymore. We're using a third party to communicate now. Peter states that she's untouchable because of everything she's doing to assist the prosecution, and that no matter what violations I'm charged with, Morrissey is keeping me out of jail. Peter also asked me to go stalk Karen Reed in the seaport with her and stated that Karen Reed stays at the Omni Hotel. She stated to me that we can take photos to sell to the Daily Mail and that she's done that before. Peter informed me that Jennifer McCabe brought her a brand new sectional as compensation for her assistance. Okay, Peter was told by Jennifer McCabe that Jennifer McCabe informed Morrissey that she's not testifying unless Turtleboy is in jail. Michael Morrissey informed Jennifer McCabe that he would have to subpoena her, and Jennifer McCabe then told Michael Morrissey, then we won't say what you want us to say. Peter got rid of her phone. Oh, this sounds familiar. The day after Aidan Kearney announced on his live show that he was looking to get personal communications of Michael Morrissey. Peter says they will never get to the communications between me and Marcie. The day that Peter showed up to protest at the Karen Reed trial, Peter informed me Jen McCabe paid me for her show of support. On March 16th, 2025, Peter told me that she went to meet with Michael Marcie and Jen McCabe at an undisclosed location in Braintree. When Peter returned home, she had a manila envelope in her hands. Okay. I mean, Peter has informed me that she has seen emails that are subject to a protective order between Karen Reed and prosecution team. Then why did Kate Peter know anything about Ingrid Curtis? She's Karen Reed's best friend. Do you think she would be more up to date? And Jennifer McCabe. Peter reported to me that upon request of Hank Brennan, she provided the spreadsheet of all the free Karen Reed Facebook supporters to the Commonwealth for this upcoming trial. Peter told me that Hank Brennan is providing information to the federal authorities regarding Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney because he wants them in jail for the trial. Peter told me she's going to start rumors about jurors being afraid to serve because Turtleboy will go after them. Everyone is working overtime to make sure that Turtleboy can't be in the courtroom for the trial. He shouldn't have been. Once you interfere with the case so severely by harassing witnesses, I don't think you should be allowed in trial. Another judge would have said no, thanks. Peter admitted to me that she created the image of Karen Reed and Alan Jackson embracing that was given to the Daily Mail. Alan Jackson doesn't think so. He's saying it was a real picture. It was just harmless. In early January, Peter and I were discussing okay. All right. So you get the idea. I don't want to go on. It's just a distraction. I don't know what's true in it, what's untrue. I couldn't know. It certainly piques my skepticism. But we'll have to wait and see for the receipts on that. But boy, it gives a lot of power and a lot of conspiracies in this area. Hard to believe, but we'll see. Funny Bunny says Commonwealth got bank statements from Turtleboy, Karen Reed's brother, and Karen Reed's dad. Can't wait. I wonder if those will come to anything. It's certainly seen families like this glued together, and they really project their own criminality onto the state. So we shall see. So that is all of what I have for today. It's a quickie. Please support the podcast. Send me a donation via Venmo, buy me a coffee, become a Patreon member, get access to exclusive content you won't get anywhere else. Links are in the description of this episode. I'm going to be playing these weekends by ear. I may be back tomorrow. I may not. Look for it at 6:00. And I will see you all sometime real soon. Thanks so much for listening.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. With lying lawyers and witness harassment, I'll avoid prison. It was snowing, I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim.